Hello my friends, let's start right away with the Kherson direction. Here the Russians once again attempted to launch an attack on our units in the village of Krynky to push them out from the left bank. This marks the second attempt in the last few days, and once again the Ukrainian Armed Forces successfully defeated them.
Another day, another assault on Krynky, another loss, all according to the same scheme as it was yesterday, and as it has been going on for 1.5 months, since the beginning of Teplinsky's command in the Dnipro Civil Army. We have to inform you that today in the area of Krynky we lost 1 tank, 1 BMD-2 and 1 BTR-82A. At the same time, the Ukrainian Marines held all their positions and even intensified attacks on our strongholds. Our guys continue to die because of the general's mediocrity and ambitions. That is why we cannot remain silent, as some military correspondents urge.
Overall, there is good news again from this direction, although there are no changes along the front line as before. Shelling on the right bank continues, and late yesterday evening there was information from the Russians claiming that the Ukrainian Armed Forces allegedly moved forward to expand the foothold while the occupiers retreat from their losses.
In the Kherson area, we do not have such superiority even close to. The enemy's air defense reliably covers the area from our big aviation, which in such a situation can only engage in non-aimed bombing from a long distance. And in the class of small aviation, that is, UAVs, the enemy has a significant superiority in this area. It is difficult to understand why, in such circumstances, General Teplinsky repeatedly drives another wave to the assault. Either he is a complete fool, which we strongly doubt, or he has an order from above to destroy the enemy's bridgehead by a certain date, and he thoughtlessly carries it out, spitting on the lives of our soldiers. Or the third, the most unbelievable, conspiratorial, but in its own way quite logical option, maybe General Teplinsky is playing into the hands of the enemy in this way and deliberately destroying the elite of the Russian army in senseless meat assaults? Knowing the biography of Teplinsky and his relatives, anything is possible.
And we hope that the Ukrainian Armed Forces will push them back and it will be possible to expand the foothold. Now let's move on to the Zaporizhzhia direction. With each passing day, the number of attacks here gradually decreases. The Russian forces thrown into the offensive on this front received a serious response from the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and the majority of them were destroyed. Therefore, another regrouping has started and battles are now only taking place in the area of Robotyne, although shelling across the entire front line continues. In the Vuhledar direction, offensive actions have started towards Vuhledar itself. The Russians are attempting to advance in the area of the cottage settlement, and shelling continues across the entire front line. So let's see how their attacks will end this time. In the Avdiivka direction, the occupiers are seriously upset because the Ukrainian Armed Forces pushed them back in 2 places approximately by 1.5 kilometers each. Therefore, shelling has increased. Today, offensive actions are reported in the areas of Novoselivske and Svatove. Several groups are attacking in the area of the coke chemical plant. Battles are underway in the industrial zone, and on the southern flank there are assaults in the areas of Severne, Tonenke and Pervomaiske. As we can see, the enemy is maximally active. At the same time, strikes in the rear continue, and yesterday there was another strike in the area of Pokrovsk. Further south, battles are ongoing on the outskirts of Marinka and Novoselivske. However, the Russians have no success and the front line remains unchanged. Even the praised units of Storm-Z, the Russian forces, don't help them. And Mikhailo Pavlov, a Russian prisoner from Storm-Z who switched sides and fought as a volunteer in the Russian corps that serves in the armed forces of Ukraine, revealed details about Wagner's proposal. Wagner, who once visited their colony where he was imprisoned, made an offer to him.
Отсидел я 4 года и 2 месяца. Началась полномасштабная война. К нам приехал ЧВК «Вагнер». Приехал Пригожин сам. Такой перформанс они устроили. Они прилетели на черном Ми-8, посадили его рядом с колонией, прямо на стоянке на автомобильной. И заехали в колонию на машинах с оружием. У всех сотрудников забрали телефоны, все камеры выключили, там все ноутбуки, все регистраторы там забрали, которые снимали, все вообще перекрыли. Они обещали помилование, они обещали денежное довольствие, там 200-300 тысяч там, каждый месяц. Вот. Говорили, что вы будете штурмовать, но что из вас вернется там 30%, может быть 20%. И что нужны прям разбойники, убийцы, крадуны, все самые серьезные какие-то криминальные такие таланты. Вот, типа у вас есть возможность заниматься тем, за что вас посадили. Ну, серьезно, без шуток, так и говорили.
In the Bakhmut direction, complex battles are unfolding on the northern flank. Several groups are attempting to break through in the area of Avdiivka. Offensive actions are also reported in the direction of Ivanivka, and attacks on Synkivka persist. All of this accompanied by shelling of both frontline villages and Chasiv Yar. Over the day, the frontline remains unchanged. In the area of Vuhledar, offensive actions are ongoing towards the village of Vesele, and shelling is taking place in the village of Robotyne. The Ukrainian Armed Forces are doing everything here to prevent the Russians from advancing even a meter. In the directions of Kreminna and Siversk, shelling continues across the entire front line, and the Russians have resumed attacks in the areas of Terne and Makivka. The plan to push the Ukrainian Armed Forces beyond the river is in action again, so let's see how the attacks will end this time. In the Svatove direction, there are shelling incidents in Berestove. However, all attacks on Novoselivske were successfully repelled by the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Kupiansk direction, the Russians have decided to advance towards Petropavlivka. However, all attacks on Synkivka and Ivanivka have ceased, as they didn't achieve success. Meanwhile, it's reported that today Zelenskyy will arrive in the USA for a meeting with Biden, and the White House is preparing an important decision regarding support for Ukraine.
President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky will pay a working visit to the United States of America on December 11th. There he will meet with U.S. President Joe Biden, hold important meetings and negotiations. According to the Office of the President, Zelensky will focus on ensuring the unity of the United States, Europe and the world around, supporting Ukraine in defending itself against Russian terror. Among the main topics that are planned to be addressed at the talks in Washington are the continuation of defense cooperation between Ukraine and the United States, joint projects for the production of weapons and air defense systems, and coordination of the efforts of the two countries next year.
Meanwhile, Sunday morning in the Kremlin, Putin began with a glass of champagne, and in his pre-election speech, he said,
Я уже не говорю о том, что в реальной жизни там происходит, когда людей уничтожают на улицах. Ну, это прямо на весь мир показали. Мало того, что они еще придурки, так они еще и неонацисты, это очевидный факт. И что против этого скажешь? Вот стал человек публичный и сказал, вот этот вот, показал там на балкон, воевал против русских во время Второй мировой войны. А кто против русских воевал во время Второй мировой войны? Фашисты. Он, кстати говоря, против Канады тоже воевал. Это просто как-то перевернутое сознание. На все готово. Готовы с кем угодно сотрудничать. Только бы России навредить.
and that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.